Look who's here with his Southern Fried Football helmet. Do you wear that around town, by the way?
In fact, as soon as this ends, I put it on and get in my Ford F-150 and I drive around town like a beauty queen. I just waving to Charlotte.
I don't know. I don't know what you do with that helmet, so I have to ask.
Let me tell you something. Next week, I might just wear this bad boy during this segment.
You know, that would be fantastic. You play for Southern Fried Football University.
When you have a face for radio, this is what you wear for television. This is how we work it.
All right, let's talk a little football. How about it? There was a game last night that mattered to people in our area, Duke UNC. Who would have predicted Duke would pull off this upset?
Certainly not the pollsters this week. They would not have gone for that.
Even the pollsters would have gotten it wrong?
The pollsters have gotten it all wrong this week. This was a really crushing loss for North Carolina. They were still in the hunt for the ACC Coastal Division. They're up 14-0, arch rival, the victory bell, all that nonsense in terms of, hey, we're going to spray paint it. No, we're not.
Yeah.
Great win for David Cutcliffe, the Duke's first ACC win this year.
I was about to say, Duke has not won a conference game.
Winless. In fact, it was the first time Duke had beaten an AP-ranked North Carolina team since 1958. Oh, my God. 58, and it's now officially basketball season in the Triangle. Duke, State, North Carolina, forget football. It's all about hoops.
Yeah.
It's officially on.
Oh, man. All right. Well, big win for Duke. Congrats to them. Let's talk about the rest of the games happening this weekend. Clemson trying to stay undefeated in the conference. They're playing Pitt.
Pitt. Talked to Dabo Swinney yesterday about the condition of his star quarterback, Deshaun Watson, who got a banged-up shoulder last week, did not play in the second half as he beat up on Syracuse.
What did Dabo tell you? Because I know you and him are pals.
No, we're buddies, man. He said that Deshaun looks good this week. He is good to go. But, of course, through his shoulder, got to keep an eye on that. Pitt's secondary is a total train wreck. Clemson will have to attack in the air. So keep an eye on this. Pitt can score. They are a really good offensive team. They put a bunch of points on, but their defense in the secondary is a real problem.
And I was trying to remember from the injury from Deshaun Watson. Was it his throwing shoulder? It was his throwing shoulder.
Listen, Dabo says he's been practicing this week. He's good to go. But, again, you don't want that dude right there on this play, right? Bam, right there. That was the shoulder that got him. So we'll see what happens there. But Clemson, number 2, should take care of business, assuming that guy can stay upright.
Well, I know one team who will be rooting for Pitt is Louisville.
No question about that.
Who's playing Wake Forest, by the way, this weekend as well. Should they sleep on Wake?
No, well, listen, Wake Forest defense has been out of sight. Let's give a shout-out to Wake Forest. They became bowl eligible last week. But that man right there is going to win the Heisman Trophy. That is Lamar.
You think it's going to be Lamar Jackson?
I know it's going to be Lamar Jackson. Lamar Action Jackson going to win the whole thing. He is Lamarvelous. He has been awesome. Louisville is so much fun to watch, but their biggest problem is the game they lost. I know, their coach, Bobby Petrino, who I talked to this week as well, talked about, hey, the way this committee thing works, maybe we should have put 80 on Florida State. No, Coach, you don't have to put 80 on Florida State. What you needed was one more touchdown against Clemson. Had they won that game, they're in Clemson's spot. Clemson's on the outside looking in. So, again, really talented team. But Wake Forest defensively very good, but I'm afraid Louisville's got a bit too much for the Dukes.
Let's switch over to the conference that you say is overrated.
It's totally overrated.
The SEC. And let's talk about Alabama playing Mississippi State, I believe.
They are. Alabama's not overrated. Alabama's running the show.
Alabama's the real deal.
If you took Alabama out of the SEC, that'd be a really fun league to watch. But the fact that Bama is still in the SEC, it's not really competitive. I mean, here they are shutting out LSU last week at Tiger Stadium, 10-0 LSU. And the Mighty Tigers had all of 125 total yards and 6 first downs. Bama's defense out of sight. They will swarm and beat up on Mississippi State tomorrow.
Quickly, Florida's trying to stay at the top in the East.
Yawn. Will Muschamp, good for him. Jake Bentley's done well at quarterback. Muschamp coming back to Florida. Had a speaking engagement in Orlando this week. They're not real happy with the Gators. So we'll see what happens in the SEC East.
Good to see you, man.
Always a pleasure.
All right. We'll be back after this.